Salut! Today we have a look at the Sigma 150-600 contemporary, the pros and cons. We take some pictures and we make a few tests. One year ago I bought that Sigma 150-600 and I was very happy with that lens. My first big zoom lens. I was very pleased, especially because before that lens I had the worst lens ever made by Canon, the EF75 to 300mm zoom. Full of chromatic aberration, not sharp at all. So believe me, it was a big jump in image quality and sharpness with that Sigma. But 1 month after buying that Sigma, I bought the RF 100 to 400mm, an excellent lens, very sharp, and 3 times lighter than the Sigma. And just after that, to get more rich, I bought the RF 800 f11, 700 gram lighter than the Sigma, and more rich. So since that time, I never used anymore the Sigma 150 to 600. Until 3 days ago, and now I have enough pictures so we can make a little review about it. So let's have a look first at some pictures, all taken here during those last 3 days. All the pictures that you will see have been denoised with topaz before any other process. Here we have a horse, no cropping, no editing, just the standard camera profile in Luminar Neo. I don't see any image quality problem. Yeah, quite good for an 8 years old budget zoom lens. Here also a good image, maybe 10-20% cropped, so we can still zoom in a bit and still have some sharpness left. Again, I don't see quality issue like chromatic aberration or color fringing, maybe just a bit of vignetting. An example of close-up, and you can see the background is totally blurred even though it is 3 to 4 meters behind the target, and simply because we are at the minimum focus distance from that Asiatic blood tail. An hermit crab trying to pass that metallic obstacle, an example of an image that don't have to be super sharp to be cool when the light is helping. I saw that crab because he was doing so much noise with its shell against the metal. Bird on a tree near me, no need for cropping too much. It have some good sharpness in the eye. Again, no image quality problem. I think I didn't see any chromatic aberration and color fringing on any picture actually. So a good point for the Sigma. I am not sure about the name of that butterfly, so if you know, please write it on the comment section below. Thanks in advance. Nice close-up again. Here we have an image cropped a little bit more, maybe 30-40%. It is not too far, maybe 20 meters. I am very pleased with the result. Quite some good details left on that bird. We can even zoom in a bit. It is even a bit surprising to me. And still no image quality problem. We have the biggest crop of them all, and you still have a decent amount of detail in it. Here is the original, so you have an idea of what is possible with that lens. One of my favorite image, an autumn leaf, amazing color, contrast and light. I love it. However, I have no idea why I used that very high shutter speed. And the last is a Palawan flying lizard. Just so cool to see it in the wild. Unfortunately, it just let me take 2 pictures from the back and it jumped away. But yeah, I wanted to share it with you. First time for me to see that species. Stay tuned, there is more picture at the end. So that lens has been made 8 years ago for DSLRs, full frame and crop sensors. But it works well nowadays on the mirrorless as well, except maybe if you use the eye detection mode on the Canon bodies. It will work, but only 60% of the time, to say a number. So that lens weight 1 kilo 800 grams without the lens hood and without, if you remove the collar, tripod collar. If you have the tripod collar and the lens hood, it will weigh 2 kilo and 35 grams. The size of the lens collapsed is 268 millimeter. Fully extended, it will be 347 millimeter. The filter size of the lens is 95 millimeter. It has 9 blade apertures if you are interested in that. The aperture is 5 to f5 to f6.3, and the minimum focus distance is 2 meter and 80 centimeters. So the first things you see starting from the right of the lens is that little knob, and you can unlock that little knob. Right now it's in landscape mode, and if you unlock it and you rotate your lens, you can go in portrait mode. Then here you have the focus button. To the left the autofocus, to the right the manual focus, and in the middle the manual focus override. So you can acquire the focus automatically and then just fine-tune it with that focus ring. The next button will help your lens understand where do you want it to focus. If you want to be full, it will search from 280 millimeter to infinity. If you put it from 10 meter to infinity, it will search from 10 meter to infinity. And the last one, it will search only from 280 millimeter to 10 meter. And that will help a lot the lens to acquire the target more quickly. The next button is about image stabilization. One is when you are hand holding your lens and your camera and you try to shoot a bird, maybe a perch on a branch. And 2 is more when you try to get a bird in flight and you are panning. So let's have a look at some tests that I just made. So here it is handheld without stabilization. Here it is handheld with stabilization mode 1. Here it is on a monopod without stabilization. Here it is on a monopod with stabilization mode 1. And here it is on a monopod with stabilization mode 2. The next one is the custom button. So you have off, custom 1 and custom 2. And same as your camera, you can program anything you want on custom 1, for example, of those settings. And custom 2, same. You can program all those settings and it will override whatever you change here. But you need a dock that you can attach to your lens and then plug into your computer in order to program the custom settings. The next things you have on the lens is the focus ring. It is smooth. It's not too easy to turn it. It has a little bit of stickiness in it, so it's not that precise, I would say. The next things is the lock of the focal length. So you can lock it, for example, at 150. You can lock it at 180 and 200, 250, 300, 400, 500, and you can lock it fully extended at 600 millimeter. So the next things is the zoom ring. It goes probably at 170 degrees, I would say. And also it's smooth and not too easy to turn. So what do I think about that Sigma 150 to 600 contemporary? You can definitely have a lot of fun with that lens. You can get some good result. I think this is the only one lens with that range of 150 to 600 under 1000 US dollar. And wide open at 6.3 you can get some good blurry background, some good bokeh if you will. And it's quite a versatile lens. You go from 150 to 600, and also you can shoot some small insects, not too small, like butterflies and other. So yeah, quite versatile. But to get the best result, you will have to work a bit harder than, for example, my RF lenses. You have to know your lens. You may have a copy that is a bit less sharp at 600 millimeter compared to 500, and that's quite normal. You may want to stop down from f6.3 to f8 or f9 to get more sharpness out of your lens. Because the image stabilization is not that great, if you want to take full advantage of that 6.3 aperture, you need a strong tripod. And because if you handheld your lens, you will have to go to shutter speed 1000 or 2000. And that lens is 3 times heavier than my RF 100 to 400 and about 700 gram heavier than my RF 800. And I personally don't like heavy gears. Start to get a bit hot here. It's summer times in the Philippines. I hope you liked my little video. Please like and subscribe. It helps a lot my channel to grow. And I see you on the next one. Cheers!